Affordable housing in my constituency at 80% of private rent is not affordable for the people who are living in temporary accommodation or in overcrowded households. If you're working full-time in retail, you can't afford 80% of private rents locally. So what's the solution for those families who are in temporary accommodation or in overcrowded households?
The local authority would need to work with them closely to find appropriate ongoing accommodation. I do recognise some of the constraints that you're
does levelling up include levelling up within cities like London, where places like Richmond and Hackney have high prices, or in the Cotswolds where house prices are expensive? Mr. Pocklington, in the early conversations you're having with ministers and the 4 pillars that you talked about,
we obviously still need
raising
to be
living standards. That'd be good if people had a roof over
there
their
are
head.
obviously areas of deprivation within all our major cities. So we absolutely do need to continue to do everything that we can to support.
So in the conversations you're having,
authorities.
If you're in the conversations you're having with the
London.
Secretary of State on the 4 pillars, and we understand some of that will be privileged at this point, but one of the pillars is raising living standards. Does that include housing and giving people a roof over their heads, a permanent roof?
Of course, I don't want to go too far into those conversations, but of course, housing is going to be an element of levelling up, and we're very aware of the issues that you're alluding to in your constituency in London. The government did increase the proportion of homes that are going to be social rent homes in this affordable homes programme compared to the previous programme. So it did respond on this issue. It doubled the number. But ultimately, governments have to make tough fiscal decisions about how much they can afford. And it is £11.5 billion programme that we have now got well underway to increase the number of social housing in this country.
Okay, I'm just thinking I could be tempted to compare 11.5 billion with many of the other projects that we've looked at that have done so well recently, one of which got some publicity next week, but I won't go down that route. But I just think it does take a long while to turn it round to deliver a home that's affordable for people, and the people are waiting. I have seen children grow from babies into teenagers and even leave home, or not leave home, because they're stuck still in their childhood bedroom, unable to move because there's no housing available for them. And there is a reality about levelling up, but I will get off.